John Sloan speaking to Jack Dankshore, who will face Scott Boom Boom Malone at Cage Warriors 104 in April in the Cardiff Viola Arena. Jack, just after your victory at Cage Warriors 100, in the media room you were saying that you were targeting a return end of April, beginning of May, and you wanted to sell out the Cardiff Viola Arena again. About half an hour after that, it was announced the Cage Warriors were coming back to the Viola Arena. Had you heard whispers leading up to that event that they were going to come back?
Yeah, I heard they were coming back around April, May. They didn't give me an exact date, which fitted nicely with me. Obviously, my last two fights were pretty much back to back. You know, it was like September the 27th straight into December the 8th. So I wanted a little bit of time or so to let myself heal and enjoy Christmas and stuff like that. So April, May was perfect for me. And then obviously they announced the date then, so perfect timing.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned in the post-fight interviews also that you didn't have any injuries as such, but, you know, coming out of two back-to-back fight camps, you had little niggles. After a couple of months of kind of maybe toning it down a bit, do you feel physically and emotionally rejuvenated for this contest?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, I've always been active right the way from amateur right the way through obviously to now. So I'm not someone who likes to take months off at a time between a fight, but also I've learned. You know, last 3 years I've been training full time, so I've learned to listen to my body a little bit as well. You know, when I first started, it was just balls to the wall, 100% every day. You know, no time off between training and stuff like that. So I've just learned to listen to myself. And as I say, it was nothing major, no big injuries. It was just a matter of just letting a couple of little things heal up, and that the relaxation period. You know, I've done that. I haven't had no time off training as such. I've kept ticking over, kept improving my technique, but it's a different game when you're in fight camp. You know, sometimes 3-4 sessions a day, 6 days a week can be quite taxing, physically and mentally. So, but yeah, ready to go now. I've had a nice break, and I'm looking forward to get back in there.
Graham Boylan's made comparisons between you and Conor McGregor and the fan bases you both have in respective countries. He's compared your fan base in Wales as to McGregor's when he went back to Dublin when Conor was the double champion. What's it like for you after those two back-to-back homeland shows? I mean, do you get mobbed now?
Not quite more, but no, yeah, it's been a bit mental. Obviously, in my head, I'm still a young kid from the valleys, but I can't go to Tesco or pop up town without someone stopping me and all that and saying well done or asking when the next fight is. I went out a couple of times over Christmas and there was people asking for photos and stuff like that. So, but it's all good. It's I suppose the bigger your name, or the more your name gets out, that's part of the crack really, and it's not something I mind. You know, I'm quite down to earth, quite chilled out, so I got time for everyone. And but yeah, it's blown up a little bit. You could say that.
We referenced off air about the article that just came out, you know, discussing you, and I didn't realise that the UFC had already made contact with you earlier on in your career. I believe that they first approached you when you're 21, and to turn that down as a 21-year-old who's undefeated, it's quite a mature decision to make.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite fortunate that the coaches and the mentors I got around me are quite what we call in Wales is old heads. You know, they've been about the game a long time, and you know, especially my father and Graham even as well. You know, they didn't want me to rush into it, and you know, like I said, be one of them guys who gets in there, you know, wins one, loses a couple, and he's back up from there. It's a long old road to climb then, and
Mickey Gal.
Yeah, that's it. But obviously, you know, it's a good site. It was a good thing for me as well. Obviously, with Graham being my manager, he could have just cashed in and thought, well, I'll have a nice, you know, a nice little 20% of a big money pay there. But he didn't. You know, obviously he had plans for me, and they've all come into place now. So, well, you know, at the time I was eager to jump at it, you know, but looking back, it was the right decision, and I'm glad I done it because you know things couldn't have played out any better.
And that must have given you a lot of confidence at the time. So it's quite flattering, you know. I mean, even look at Nathaniel Wood, who's now coming off 2 UFC victories. It took him 2 title defenses before the UFC even got in contact. So, I mean, it's a sign of respect that they've identified you and you're a 21-year-old.
Yeah, definitely. It's you know, I know they've been interested in the past, which helps me keep that motivation. The thing, if I keep doing what I'm doing, keep winning, you know, getting those finishes. And as well as that, you know, having the Cage Warriors belt, that it just gives you that little bit extra exposure. And I keep doing what I'm doing. They'll come again, and but this time hopefully, you know, it'll be for a bit more money even, and you know, and a nicer contract, I'd imagine, because you know, I'm in no rush. Cage Warriors treat me well and pay me well and promote me well, so it's when it comes, it'll come. It's not something I'm thinking about and rushing to. It's one of them ones that when it happens, which it will happen, it'll come.
Let's talk a bit about Scott Malone. He obviously had a fantastic win over your teammate Josh Reed at Cage Warriors 100. I noticed, because I was watching your post-fight interviews in Cardiff back this morning, and I noticed that at the time you were very keen, perhaps before anyone had suggested it, that the narrative of this fight wasn't dictated by you going to avenge Josh's loss as your teammate. Why were you keen that wasn't made the storyline of this fight?
Just because I think sometimes, you can get caught up in especially, having Josh lost to him, then Josh is my teammate, one of my main training partners. I could quite easily get caught up in I'm going out for revenge for Josh. I'm got to get our win back. You've already beat one of the guys from the gym. I got to get back. And that's, as much as it'd be nice to get a win back for Josh, that's not my soul. It's not my mentality going in. That can make you fight a bit emotionally. It can make you, too aggressive, overcomplicate things, like I said, it's nice to get our win back. It will be nice to get it back for Josh, but I got to go in there like I am every fight, cool and composed and fighting to my game plan and fighting to my strengths, not going in there trying to, blitz him just for the sake of getting that win back for my teammate. But it's never like that. It's never personal for me. This is a sport and we're all in it for the same reasons. And the ultimate goal is just to win and defend the belt and look good doing it. There's never no other motive behind it other than that.
How did you think that fight would play out between Josh Reed and Scott Malone?
A lot different to what I did. Josh is 10 times better than what he showed on the night in the gym. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes, you have an off night. It's a game of inches. The thing that draws people in MMA is that it can go the complete opposite way to what you expect, or it can end. You make one little false move or one mistake and it can end. But Josh is a lot better than what he showed that night. He's fighting again now in a couple of weeks. I know he wants to get on the card as well. So I'm sure he'll be back to winning ways and he'll be looking to redeem himself.
Yeah, completely. Talking of Scott Malone, there was quite a big push on social media from the Scottish fans wanting to see Scott Malone in this title fight. Added to that, he also kind of campaigned for it himself. He had the picture of him with the belt, calling himself the People's Champ. Did that make you want the fight even more? And I don't imagine you to be a guy that kind of looks at things on social media and goes, right, I'll take that fight and show him. But at the same time, you don't want it to be seen like you're ducking anyone.
No, I mean, I think anyone who knows anything, especially in UK, knows I don't duck anyone. I've looked at my fight in September. I could have quite easily said, I'm not fighting. I don't know nothing about the guy. I just jumped in and fight. Same then. Off the back of that, fighting Ekendale, who was ranked one below me. So I don't duck no one. It made me laugh a little bit, some of the comments on social media,
don't be scared, homie.
I'm scared of Scott, and Cage Warriors will never make the fight. They want Jack to keep the belt. It's just people campaigning for their friend to get a fight. I get it. I don't take it personal, but they're definitely going to be eating their words, and they're going to look awful silly then come fight night when you can see that it's a different story altogether. But like I said before, I've said it in interviews before, I got, nothing but good things to say about Scott. Very high level competitor, with his judo background and his all round MMA game. He's been labelled a grappler a couple of times, and then he had a good TKO win a couple of months back. So he's more than worthy of having that shot for the belt. But like I keep saying, I don't do call outs and Twitter wars and stuff like that. I fight whoever Cage Warriors put in front of me. They just send me the contract. I sign it and send it back, and there's no more to it other than that.
Like you mentioned, that was kind of a theme from some Scots fans and Scott himself on social media. They'll give it to some European no one's ever heard of, so Jack can get an easy win, then go to the UFC. The way that they were kind of talking about that kind of hints at the fact that it might be a bad stylistic matchup for you. How do you see this matchup stylistically?
I mean, they're going to say that, all my friends, when you go in the comments when they get the fight going out, all my friends are saying the same thing. You're just getting behind your own. Stylistically, I'm very confident in the matchup. I've dealt with opponents of similar style before, so I don't, as much as I respect how good he is and his skills, I don't look at Scott's game and panic over anything and think he's bad stylistically for me anyway. I'm very well rounded. Like, I can compete with the best in the world in all areas, and you'll see that on the night, and they'll all see that that I'm at that level. People say it every fight I have. People say this is the one going to be too strong. The last fight he's going to be too strong. His wrestling's too good. Oh, what's he going to be able to do off his back? Like, we all seen that crack. You know what I mean? Same when I fought Vaughan Lee as well. What's his striking going to be like? How's he going to deal with someone like Vaughan Lee on the feet? And we guys stood and banged with him for for half of the fight. So it'll be the same this fight. You know, there's always strengths and weaknesses in everyone's game. But on the night, I'm going to come out on top because me and my coaches just feel like we're better in every area, and I look forward to proving that.
Some fighters, you know, the world title's obviously been on your mind since you were a young age, since you began, probably even your amateur career. Some fighters talk about when they achieve something that they've been working for years, they kind of inherently notice a dip in motivation. From the way you're talking, I can already tell that's not the case. But I mean, why isn't it? Did you ever think, you know, when you have that belt on your shoulder, kind of, you know, I've done it?
I mean, it's easy to get wrapped up in that sort of stuff. You do see it happen. You see a lot of guys, like you say, get the world title. And to them, that was the be-all and end-all. Sometimes you see it with the UFC. For some guys, or a lot of guys, getting signed to the UFC is the be-all and end-all, rather than getting to the UFC, beating top guys, and becoming the UFC champion. You know, I got a good, strong mindset. Obviously, as nice as it is to be called the world champion and win the world title and whatever, there's bigger things going on. You know, I got other goals that I've yet to achieve, and other things I want to tick off my list as well. So the motivation was never going to lack after winning it. If anything, it's just made me more hungry to keep pushing and keep putting on these performances and keep getting my name out there.
I understand at the end of last year you were also offered an opponent by the UFC on short notice. I've kind of got a few guesses in my mind. Will I get you in trouble if I ask who it was?
I won't bother because I don't even know. I don't even know who it was. It was middle of the year, not end of the year. It was after my fight with Vonley. It was in the summer, and they come to Graham they didn't come specifically for me. They came for a bantamweight. Obviously, I probably would have been his first shout at the time, but my hand was broke, so I wouldn't have been cleared to fight anyway. And I wouldn't. It was on something like 3-4 weeks notice, and obviously with a broken hand, I hadn't been training the way I was able to, so I wouldn't have been confident in taking that fight anyway. I like to be prepared, so I won't bother guessing. I won't be able to tell if it was right or wrong anyway.
In terms of your career, are you a guy that sets yourself New Year's resolutions? I mean, do you have it written down somewhere, or maybe even just in the back of your mind where you want to be at the end of 2019?
You know, just same as every year, just keep winning. Obviously, I don't that unbeaten status is a nice thing to have, and if I want to go where I plan on going, I got to keep a hold of that. But I wouldn't call it a resolution, just goals. You know what I mean? Short-term goals, long-term goals. Obviously, just keep winning, keep performing, keep hold of that belt, and just keep pushing to that big stage, and just getting my name further out there. And I know the things I've been, you know, using to motivate myself for years will come to plan before long. You
probably can't answer this question either, but how much did you weigh on Boxing Day?
How much did I weigh on Boxing Day? A little bit heavier than 135.
Thank you so much for coming on, Jack. It's always a pleasure.
Cheers, John. Thanks for having me, mate. No problem at all.